Okay, welcome again. Today we are going to see another part of mechanism, which is quite an important part. Uh, though it may sound a bit weird to you that how all these things are possible, but you can push something for your higher physics knowledge. Correct? Right now, let's try to accept the way it need to be accepted. I'll try my best to explain to you what this law is. So the concept which I am talking about today is the concept of Ampere's law. The concept of Ampere's law is called Ampere's circuital law. Okay. Now you can see the flow. The flow is very similar. I mean, like if you see the electrostatic, we learned about field. We learned about the field due to a charge, and then we saw a Gauss law. Similarly, we are going to see what we call Ampere circuital law. Then we saw some dipole over there, and very soon we are going to see some magnetic moments. There was dipole moment here. We are going to see magnetic moment, and all this comes. This will come very soon. But there is obviously a symmetry followed. There's law there is law here, but the way this law is proposed is not exactly the same as that of Gauss law. If you do remember the concept of Gauss law talks about electric flux over a closed surface, a surface. But here the Ampere circuital law does not talks about a surface. Okay, though it talks something about closed. So the word closed is similar there and here both. There it was closed surface, here it is closed loop. Okay. There it talked about electric field, here it talks about magnetic field. But the way the fields are oriented in space are slightly different. For a point charge, we have a field due to a point charge in electric field which is radially outward. Then we have a field due to a current carrying element which is never along it, is always around it. So the way the way the fields are distributed, that also is very interesting in these laws. So let's not waste more of time on this introduction. So let's go to the concept called Ampere's circuital law. Now what exactly is this law talks about? Now we know that there is a straight current carrying wire, and from class 10 also, and even if you have seen my previous videos, that the field lines are circular in nature. Remember? It is a straight wire, and in this thumb is the direction of current. Then this thumb the four fingers will give you the direction of magnetic field. So if the current is going up, magnetic field will be in this direction. Now just imagine, in order to understand this, okay, this needs to be understood very carefully. So what I am going to do, I am just going to change this diagram, the view of the diagram. Now this was my current, okay, this was my current going up, and this was my field over here, correct? Okay, I have this one. So this is my field, this one is your field, and this pen is your current carrying wire. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rotate this so that it faces towards the board. So the current is going inside the board. Okay. So now I will so the magnetic field, which was like this earlier, if I rotate this and if I make it face go, so look at how the magnetic field looks like. The magnetic field looks like this. So I have this as the magnetic field now, and it has to be a closed loop, and the current is going inside. So I will put a cross mark. Cross mark indicates direction going inside. And what is this? This is nothing but current I. So this is current I now going in. So if the current is going in like this, okay, so the direction of magnetic field will be in this direction. Okay. So this is the current which is going in, and then this is the direction of current. So if this is the direction of current over here, then what does the law talks about? The law says that if I imagine another circuit as an imaginary circuit, now this is what is this? This is, I will not draw this as a solid line, okay, I'll draw this as a dotted line. So this is the direction of field over here, field over here, field over here, which are all spread in a circular form. So that now what I am going to say will be clear to you. So this is the field, okay, because of this current carrying wire. Now what Ampere says that if I draw an imaginary loop here, if I draw an imaginary loop, then what I have done, I have taken an imaginary loop. Now just imagine here there is an imaginary loop here, and that there is a magnetic field also. So there is a small element over here of the loop that is called dl element, and in that dl element the field is also in the same direction. So both this dl element and field are in the same direction. So what is the angle between them? The angle between them is 0 degree. If I do some asymmetric case, angle may not be 0 degree, but right now to start with I am saying that B and dl has made an angle of 0 degree, and this imaginary loop which I have considered has enclosed a current in it, and which current is I. And there comes the Ampere circuital law. So what Ampere circuital law says, how these three things are related: the imaginary loop which you are considering, the magnetic field, and the current enclosed. So Ampere circuital law says that if I do a B dot dl, so if I have to do a B dot dl here at this point, and then if I have to integrate over the entire perimeter, correct, so that the starting point and the ending point of my integration is same. So this symbol means closed. This symbol means closed integration. Then this will give a value whose value is mu naught times of I enclosed. Mu naught times of I enclosed. And what is mu naught? Mu naught is permeability of free space. So when you do this, the Ampere gives a solution to it, that when you do this, your final answer should be equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. Okay? Okay, I told you, it needs some time to understand all these things. Okay, the Gauss law, the Ampere circuital law. But this is the law which we have in the most abstract way. Mu naught times of I enclosed is the final result which we have to look forward. Okay. Just imagine that what if I am not dealing with a symmetric case. Just imagine for the same wire carrying a current I, okay, carrying a current I. So the magnetic field, we know that it is in circular nature. But what if I take a loop which is irregular? So the field, there will be a field which will be here, will have a direction in this direction. The field which will be here will have a field in this direction, because field will be circular in nature. Now this dl element, if I consider dl element, or if I consider dl element, or if I consider field over here, then if I consider dl element, this will make some angles which is a variable over here, theta 1, theta 2, theta. So even if it is irregular, ultimate answer, even if you do the integration over here, B dot dl here, B dot dl here, B dot dl over here, and then you integrate. When you integrate, then comes the mighty power of this formula, this law, which says even in that case also final result must be equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. Even in that case also final result will be mu naught times of I enclosed. What if I try to have multiple currents? So let us say I have one current here, one current here. Now dot means the current is moving out, cross means current is moving in. So let us say this current is 2I, this current is I, and I have, let us say, one more here, I, or let us say cross I, okay? And then I have an irregular shaped loop like this. This is my loop, this is my loop, and I want to know what is the value of B dot dl over here. So in this case also, even if I do this B dot dl and then if I integrate over here, my ultimate answer will be equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. And what is the enclosed current here? Here you have to do the subtraction of algebraic subtraction. You have to consider which one is positive, which one is negative, your wish. If you consider going in is positive, that means 2i and I is positive. That means you have to take coming out as negative. So if I take going in as positive, 2i plus I, 3i. And then 1i is going out. So I will subtract that. So 3i minus I, that is 2i. So here the answer is 3i plus I minus I, sorry, not I, okay? I, and that will be equal to mu naught times of 2i. Now you don't have to worry what is happening here. Just we know that Ampere's second law says that the product of B dot dl must be equal to mu naught times of I. It's just like Gauss law. Does not matter how the electric field is, where is the charge. So long the charge is inside the enclosure. So long the charge is inside the enclosure, your net flux will be always equal to Q enclosed by epsilon naught. Charge enclosed by epsilon naught. Doesn't matter where is the charge, correct? So long it is inside, done. So same thing over here. So long whatever shape of your loop, doesn't matter. What matters, how much current is getting enclosed. Okay, that is the only consideration we have to look for. That is equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. Okay. Now this is okay. This is the introduction of Ampere's second law. Looks good, fantastic. Don't forget to put this dot here, and then there is a vector sign over here, B dot dl. And how will you define the statement? If they ask you, this is what you have written on the board. On the board, what is written is the mathematical form, which you have to make a note of. Yes, mathematical form. Now, if they ask you what is Ampere's second law, then you have to write like this: that line integral of magnetic field. Please make a note. Line integral of magnetic field around a closed loop. Line integral of magnetic field around a closed loop is equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. Mu naught times of I enclosed. Okay. If it is dl, it's called line integral. If you remember in Gauss law, I told you it's called surface integral. It is closed surface because there was dA, E dot dA. So that is surface integral. That means you have to cover the entire surface. You have to move around the surface. Here it is line integral. The word line has to be mentioned in the definition. Line integral. Okay. Now moving ahead, we are going to move ahead and we are going to discuss some of its application. And the first application is so I will continue from here. Now this application. Application of Ampere's circuital law. Altogether there are 3 applications which we have to learn. That is, how can we use Ampere's circuital law to find the field, magnetic field due to an infinitely long current carrying wire. Number 2, due to a solenoid. Number 3, due to a toroid. Now, what exactly is solenoid, what exactly is toroid, all that we are going to see very soon. But what we know is how does a straight wire looks like. So let's start with that only. So let us consider that this is my straight wire and this goes to infinity because we have to consider an infinitely long current carrying wire. Now, the one thing which you have to know for class 12 especially is we have to know how does the field looks like. Okay, in order to make sure that we know the applications of Ampere's circuital law 1, 2 and 3, we have to pre-assume that, not pre-assume, we have to know this beforehand that for this field is this, not value, how it looks like. Okay, so we know from class 10 that field due to a straight wire is in the form of a loop like this. Okay, if the current is going in this direction, field will be in this direction. So this need to be drawn separately again over here. So if I draw the same thing over here, sorry, then you have to write here as this is my current I. So this is the direction of field. At just take one of the element and write here as dl, and you mention here that theta, this is your b at this point, and mention here as theta as 0 degree. At one of that, just any one, take any one and just to write like this. Okay. Okay. A bit near, not too far. Okay. Now here then you have to write something, because in board exam you just cannot come and do the derivation. You have to write something. Consider. So we have to write, consider a wire as shown in the diagram with current passing perpendicularly inside the plane. You will write, I could have written board, I will not write board, otherwise you will also write board, just write plane. Consider a wire as shown in diagram with current passing perpendicularly inside the plane. So this is my current, is passing perpendicularly inside the plane, for which magnetic field is circular in nature. Of radius r. Let us consider a loop. Let us consider a loop of radius r such that dl element of loop makes an angle of 0 degree with magnetic field. Okay, so from what you call, from Ampere's circuital law, Ampere's circuital law. Now you have to introduce the law. So when you are introducing the law, that is going to carry 1 mark. Okay, so introduce the law very carefully. So the law says, okay. Yeah, sorry. So the law says V dot dl is equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. Okay. So over here now we have to tell that it is making an angle of 0 degree, that we have already spoken over here. So we have to show it over here. So now we will show it like this, that is equal to V dl cos 0 degree equals to mu naught times of I enclosed. And then you go on that side, you take the B constant because B is same, because it has the same radius, and then you have to integrate over dl. See why B is out? B is out because everywhere the radius is same, correct? The R is same. Don't do this further. I'm just explaining to you. Everywhere the R is same. So if your R is same, the magnetic field strength will be same. So basically magnetic field is out of integration. Okay, and you can take it out of the integration only first to justify cos 0 is 1. Okay, and then take the B out, and then that is equal to mu naught times of I, because current enclosed is I over here. And then you have to write B, integral of dl is 2 pi r equals to mu naught times of I Okay, can you just do one favor to me? Just write this as r. Write this also as r. Let's take everywhere as a small r. Okay, so integral of dl is 2 pi r. That means if you add all the dl elements, what you get? You get the perimeter of the circle. And the perimeter of the circle is 2 pi r. And so what is the magnetic field? Magnetic field will be equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi into r. And if you remember, this is the same formula we have got. If you remember the formula of field due to a finite wire, okay, mu naught I by 4 pi r sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. In that case, if both theta 1 theta 2 becomes pi by 2 pi by 2, it becomes sin 90 plus sin 90, that becomes 2, then 2 gets out and you get exactly the same formula, mu naught I by 2 pi r. Remember, we are dealing with the infinite wire. Please draw both the diagrams like this, okay? And you have to write this because derivation is very small, and right away you will get the answer. Okay. One thing you have to mention over here, after drawing that diagram, that graph is very important. If this is my field and if this is my r, how does the field looks like? The field looks like this, it's 1 by r. Never let the graph touch the axis, nor it touch the y-axis. Okay, it should not touch. And this is 1 by r graph. So this is the first application of Ampere circuital law. Okay, so I forgot to put the heading. Heading is magnetic field due to infinitely long current carrying wire. Okay, please make a note of this, clear note on this. Nothing should be misplaced. Okay, everything should be in the order to get the full marks in the derivation. Okay. Okay. Second application. Second application is field due to a solenoid. So second application is field due to solenoid. What is solenoid? Is nothing but a loop. Suppose if I rotate this wire at the same point, what we have got? I have got a coil. Okay. Now suppose if I rotate the wire by spreading it out over the length. So what I have got? I have got this one now as solenoid. Okay. We call this as straight solenoid. So a solenoid basically looks like this. I will write bigger. And the syllabus says long solenoid. I will not draw long. I have a limited space on the board. So it says long solenoid. But when you have a long solenoid, how does the field due to a solenoid looks like? Now suppose if I say current goes in here. So if the current is going in, it is again class 10 concept. Now if the current is going in over here, so how does the field looks like? If the current is going from this, if I see from this end, it is going clockwise. So if I rotate my fingers clockwise for a circular coil, field is inside. So here the field goes inside, and from here the field comes out outside. So if you do remember that how the concept of clockwise and anti-clockwise of class 10, if this is rotating clockwise means it will behave like a south pole, and if anything rotates anti-clockwise means it behaves like a north pole. Okay. So here this is from this friend, this is south pole because it's clockwise. So south pole where field goes inside. So field goes in a south pole. And from north pole field comes out. And inside the solenoid the fields are straight. The fields are straight. Outside it starts making curvature. So this will go up and come back over here. Sorry for the diagram. This will go up and come back over here. Okay, very good. Just outside there is no field. Field is there a bit far, but just outside over here there is no field. Over here there is no field, and field here is straight inside the solenoid. Now why I am saying all these things? Because we are going to apply Ampere's circuital law. Okay, and we are going to apply this in very intelligent way, so that our calculation becomes lesser and lesser. So if you have drawn this diagram, if you have understood this, let us take this out of this. If you have understood this, okay, this is not required to draw, but I am just drawing for your benefit only. So what I am going to do now is I am going to because I have to consider a loop in field due to a straight wire. In the field due to a straight wire, I consider the loop to be a circular. Now here I will consider the loop to be a rectangular. Okay. The reason is this: here the field is straight. So if I consider a loop like this, I don't have any other color marker. So if I consider a loop like this is a dark one, then it goes up slightly outside, then comes back over here, and then it comes over here. Let us name it as A, B, C, D. And remember, here in this region, within, everywhere, okay, everywhere, field is straight. Field is straight. Okay, and then we have A, B, C, D, A as the Ampere loop. So, within the solenoid, magnetic field is in a straight line. In a straight line. Full stop. So let us consider a loop A, B, C, D as shown in figure, which is rectangular. Okay, which is rectangular. Now, using Ampere's circuital law, what do I have? I have B dot dl equals to mu naught times of I enclosed. Agree? Now this symbol means closed integration. Okay. What I am going to do now, remember I have to start from A and then I have to come back to A. So instead of that, what will I do? I will open this up. I will start from A and I will go to B, then I will not put this sign. Remember I am doing this only, plus. Then I will go from B, then I will go to C, from B to C, plus. Then from C to D, plus. And then from D to A, stop. So starting from A and coming here. And for each step I will write B dot dl. For each step I will write B dot dl. And this must be equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. Okay. From A to B, first step, if I consider this length to be equal to L, then from A to B I have field. I am going from A to B. Field is also in the same direction. So I will write this as B dl cos 0 plus, I hope it is visible to you. So I will write here as B dl cos 0 plus B to C. B to C, field is in this direction. I am going here, upward, field in this direction. What is the angle between the field and the BC? 90 degree. So field in this direction, I am going from B to C in this direction. So B dl cos 90 plus, this is from B to C, plus C to D. Next step, C to D, there is no field. So 0 times dl from C to D. The field itself is 0. You can directly put as 0. I have no problem. The reason why I am writing as 0 here is because there is nothing here. So no need to put a dot also. Because 0 times dl. Okay, there is no field from C to D. And then from D to A, you are coming like this. Field is in this direction. Again 90 degree. So you have from D to A again B dl cos 90 degree, and that must be equal to mu naught times of I enclosed. I will come to the word enclosed over here. Okay, just wait for some moment. So 0, 0, 0 left with this. So you will write here as B integral of dl from A to B plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to mu naught times of I enclosed L. So that is equal to B times of L equals to mu naught times of I enclosed. Okay. Then after this, from that particular step, I have to now write very carefully the concept of I enclosed. What is I enclosed? I enclosed is how much current is enclosed. Okay. Now, how we are going to find this one now? Each turn has a current of I. Each turn. This is I. Okay, so if I consider that each turn has a current of I, basically I have to find how many turns I have in that in this loop. Okay. So for which we define N. For which we define the value called N. Small n. What is small n? Small n is defined as number of turns. This is a defined term. Number of turns per unit length. Number of turns per unit length. So if I consider that n, let us go back to our lower school concept, unitary method. So if I say that I have 20 turns in 1 centimeter length. In unit length 1 centimeter I have 20 turns. How many turns I have in, let us say, 3 centimeter? So what will you do? You have 20 turns per centimeter multiplied by 3 centimeter. How much you will get? 60 turns. So if your loop encloses 60 turns, that means you are getting 60 times of each current. Okay. So that same logic we are going to apply over here. So if n is the number of turns per unit length, then how much is the length of this amperes rectangle, a rectangular loop? It has a length of L. So I will write here as n times of L, where n is number of turns per unit length, and multiplied by I. So each turn has I. So I, and then these are the total number of turns in that much of length. The good thing is this L should get cancelled out. So that is equal to mu naught times of Ni. This is the field due to a solenoid within it. Now here the important part is you don't forget to define correctly the value of the meaning of n. They ask this, what is n over here? And if you write n as number of turns in context with solenoid, it's wrong. N here in context with solenoid is number of turns per unit length. Okay. The video is quite longer, so I'll discuss the third application, that is field due to a toroid, in my next video. Meanwhile, just practice this derivations very carefully. The moment I rub it, just before that you pause it and note down till then. Don't break the continuity of the derivation. Okay, so thank you for watching and goodbye.